That I got like.
The awesome Jeff.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. This is Inside Scoop, and we got a special guest.
Hey, I'm Brett Shumway from the traditional way.
All right. So,
Making it a bit traditional for this show.
here we go.
I'll have to get buttoned up.
Did you guys have like a Korean versus Japanese battle when you guys like argument or debate when you guys did the year-end show?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Just saying.
no, because here's the thing, and we're going to go back. And now, after I say this, some insiders are going to go back and listen to episode 1. But when sometimes, listen, I got subbed out when I was judging at the Diamonds.
Yeah, that was funny.
Eric Carnahan came up and he goes, "Hey, why don't I give you a break?" And I'm like, "Mr. C, I'm okay. If you need me, I'm here all day. I don't need to stop. Like, I got you. Don't worry." He goes, "No, everybody knows you hate Japanese form, so it'd be best if you don't judge this division." And I'm like, "Who the frick said that?" Because that wasn't never the case. What I said, and now everybody's gonna go back and listen. Oh, let's chop this up and make it a soundbite. I don't understand why traditionally Korean stylists make a extra decision to say, no, when I compete in traditional forms, I don't want to do Korean forms. I want to do Japanese forms. And I've never been officially trained in Japanese form. Kata. Look at me. I already call it a form. Okay? I would do Japanese kata instead of Korean forms when for 10 plus years, I'm a Korean black belt. What kind of sense does that make? Right. And that was where the whole thing stemmed from.
Yeah.
But I would encourage everybody else to go back and listen to that. And so you hear the full context of what Jeff and I said. And then after you do that, listen to the John Chung episode.
Yeah, that was good.
The first one. We had 2. Can you believe that, Jeff?
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, man. So how have you been? We are back. This is like the first time ever we took 2 weeks off. It's kind of crazy. This is episode 221. Sorry, I had to read up top. 221. And yeah, like this is 2024. We got bold predictions for the Warrior Cup. I didn't get to share some of my thoughts for this year. Maybe we'll get to that. Who knows? This is going to be a fun episode. And so Brett is here. He lives Delaware, so he came down to train. And we got some, well, I don't know, like he realized my Monday's pretty busy. I'm just here all day long. So it's like,
No, it was good though. I got to work with a couple of your students on some stuff, from white belts up to some junior black belts, I'm assuming. Yeah, not adults, so junior black belts on some stuff. Worked some sparring with Wes, so your kid.
Yep.
And yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it's been a fun day. It's been awesome, man. And then I had again, I had several private lessons. My nephew came in, so he got to see my mom. He hadn't seen her in years, so that was cool, man. But yeah, Monday's wild because, again, like I come in at 9 a.m. sometimes, but I left the house today at 6:45 to go to the gym, and then I'll get home depending on how much Alex talks. 10:30, 11.
That's good.
You're actually you were up and out before I left Delaware this morning. That's crazy. Because I left Delaware at 7:00. You were already at the gym.
I was already at the gym. But yeah, man, it's a big week.
In those gains.
Yes. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for Warrior Cup. One of the funniest things is this, I think, will be the first time I've gone to the NASCA banquet since the year 2000. Yeah, so I won the Korean title this year. So yeah, I was a big surprise. So I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's go. And we have, teammates and stuff. So as a coach of Revolution, it's a good one for me to go as well. So support everybody.
Okay, now I want to talk to you about the NASCA banquet since you brought it up.
Yes.
I've been to the NASCA banquet since John Sharkey's had the tournament in Chicago. Okay.
Okay.
Good banquet. Yeah, you're gonna have spaghetti and meatballs. And we all get it. Okay, moving on. All right. But can I tell you, I was always kind of jealous that I never really signed up and officially submitted to go to the NASCA
Really?
banquet when it was at the Bluegrass Nationals at the Galt House. Dude, what was that like?
So that was always fun. Okay. So my mom helped
Like right in
the
the smack, like right in the beginning of summer, just like the buzz. We're here, the fun because Bluegrass was the fun
much-
tournament.
Yeah. So the NASCA banquet back then was really cool because there was actually 2 banquets going on. They had their
RSKC, that's
going on
right.
in one room, and then at the same exact time they had the NASCA banquet going on in the other room. Like, dude, they were making it work, dude. They were bringing people in, and it was really cool because it was on a big stage, right? The
Right.
2 or 3 years.
I did kind of peek in. and
when
try
it
to
went
buy
to
in.
when it went to the Galt House, they had it like a big stage, and like in some ways, like that could have been where they put the finals. That would have been kind of cool, right? But
Yeah.
it was fun. I don't remember the food, but I mean, I just remember that part. But I remember it before at the when it was at the old location. I can't remember the name of that hotel before the Galt House. I
know where it's at.
a lot of that, and so they would have, they've set up this whole
Grandiose thing.
on the stage where we're going to compete at, right?
Okay.
And it was packed. I mean, it was just packed with people. And then before that, it was actually at Denver for the Mile High Classic was where it was.
I did hear about that.
93, 94, 95 was the first year it was in. 17-10, guys, for the game. 17-10. Michigan's up. But it was in 95 was the first year Bluegrass had it, and it was always just class act. Ken Eubanks and his wife did an amazing job, and my mom helped from about 95 till about 2002, I guess, maybe 3. She kind of always came in and helped put that together and set it up. So it was a lot of fun. One year, the coolest year was 1999. So 1999,
Why is that?
the Elite got asked. They asked us to do a demo, like a team demo, and so I wrote the demo. So what it was like because it was at the time, I think it was 10 years of the 10-year anniversary of NASCA, because it started in like 89 to so.
Wait, is this when you did that team form with Ida Henley?
No. That happened that year, but that was not like
That wasn't when you did it. Okay.
No. So what we did was we kind of did like a demo showing kind of like as a spoof. Like it wasn't really a demo, it was more like an honoring all of the different competitors and the history of NASCA. And so what I would do,
I gotta hear what you guys did.
Yeah, so I wrote like, this year kicked off, the beginning of NASCA kicked off with someone, like John Fournette winning and Charlie Lee winning amazing, overall titles. And, I had them doing like 2 people came up and acted like they were them, dressed up as them, like everything. Right. And then, like one, like I think I was Tony Young, and I joked that Tony Young evaded everyone to win the overall championship in 92. Right. And I literally just was like doing this, running around, like around the ring, acting like and then,
That's amazing.
We had Thomas Wright on the team. And so he acted like Brian Ruth in his Hakama and fishing, because he's like, dude, all Brian ever used to talk about was fishing. So he came out in his Hakama and like with a fishing rod.
Stop.
Just like insider type things, but it was just funny, right? And Preston, we had Preston up there and him like singing because, he was a country singer.
He had a country album out.
Yeah. So we did a lot of fun things. I did John Valera's Legend. You know, Stephanie dressed up as different people. We dressed up as like Nikki Carlson. I mean, there was a lot of just cool things, you know.
Wait,
that we did. So that was
Stephanie
fun.
Flowers dressed up as Nikki Carlson?
I believe so. Yeah.
How did
I
she do
believe
that?
so. I think we had like someone come out, like
Did
a
she
kid
get a
come
wig?
out. No, I think she had like a kid come out, and yeah, but she didn't need a wig. Stephanie had long hair at that time.
No, but didn't Nikki have brown hair at one point?
no.
She always had
It was-
blonde hair. I thought one
yeah.
point she had brown hair.
But so we had like a kid come out, and Stephanie just like axe kicked the kid, because that's what always
That's
always
hilarious.
looked like, right?
That's
So,
actually pretty
a
good.
lot of funny stuff like that we did. David Douglas, you know, Mike Chat, all kinds of stuff. So it was just an entertaining thing. It was fun. But yeah, I wrote all that, and that was cool.
Take
so that-
notes.
fun.
Take notes, Sharkies.
Yeah, man. They
Jeff
got
Doss is for hire. He's got to write the script though.
Oh man. But yeah, so that was fun. I'm trying to think of other ones that were cool. I mean, I just remember, so they don't do this anymore, but they used to come out with the banquet. When you're at the banquet, they had the banquet like yearbook. So you were looking at something too, and be like, oh, this is who won, this is who did this,
Right.
and did that.
And that's important to at least know the winners, like the big notable winners from that tournament, like who won AmeriKick this year,
Right.
who won Compete Nationals this year, you
Stuff
know,
like- yeah.
who won a battle. That
Well,
would
yeah,
be good to know,
when
right?
I-
not
when I
not
was
that
that
everybody
age-
wouldn't know, but just like to have it written down, to read it in front of you. Yeah, that would be nice.
Well, I mean, even the rankings, the points, like I don't
Yeah.
read all of them anymore like I used to. But when I was a junior, I did. You know why though? There was a picture at the top of who won, and then everyone underneath. So it was like I put a face with the champion, and then guess what? They became a star, because that's who you wanted to either aim to beat, or that was someone you looked up, you wanted to get their autograph.
Oh, 100%.
Which I did. You know, like I would go and get Carmichael and Carmichael's. You know,
Dude, 100%. I'm gonna tell you straight up. Remember that video I sent you that Carmichael sent me?
yes.
Dude, Brett, you gotta hear this. This is the nuttiest thing. Can't believe this thing. So
Yeah,
Carmichael at the time when I'm a kid, right? He's by far like an untouchable like martial arts hero. Like, you gotta be kidding me, right? So I just thought that there was the three. There was the Carmichael, Mike, Chat, and I just thought like Carmichael just had this thing that was just a bit unfreaking touchable. I'm like, this is the guy, right? So Carmichael just texts me and he's like, I need you to FaceTime me right now. But you can't even believe that that's a real thing. Like, Carmichael Simon texts me and says he wants to FaceTime me. Like, what world am I living in? Right? That was the kind of position that's where I kind of looked at him like. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm available. All right. See you, kids. We run outside. Right. And it's a video. He shows me this video of him talking to Ernie Reyes Jr. And then here comes this goofy little kid wearing his school uniform, going like this, looking at the two of them, and it's me, right? And he's like, who is that guy? Do you know who that guy is? Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I know who that guy is, right?
It says demon on the back.
But that's the thing, Jeff, like what you said, when you have your picture, right, do you become superstars, right?
Or even better, how many trading cards did you have as a young
There we go.
martial artist?
I didn't have the trading cards, right? I would just take what I would do is like, you know, when like, all the flyers that are just all around, right? I'd take them all, right? I'd take them all because if you had your picture, and this is also why it's freaking cool to get yourself in the flyer, right? So I would take them and then I'd try to figure out like, who is that person? And sometimes when you're on the flyer, it would say like Brent Beatty, right? Or it was whoever it would be. So then you're like, dude, that's freaking Brent Beatty. And then you'd be looking for Brent Beatty, right? And then you'd watch him fight, and then you're like, wow, this dude's awesome. Or you'd look at, you know, Ming Lu, like if you didn't already know who she was, right? And then you'd be like, holy crap, look at that. She's the bomb. And then you stand next to her and you realize she's like 3'8". And then you're like, oh, maybe not.
Yeah, but even like for us on the NBL, that's where the magazine was. Because I mean,
Did you guys do? NBL did I'm going to say this. Did a much better job, way better, of building up their athletes the way that they should have been built up. Way better. NASCA had the yearbook at the end of the year, but it was like a one thing at the end of the year, right? And Jeff, I don't even think it lasted that many years, did it?
I don't know when the last time they did it, but I know it started getting less and less. It became big thing, and then it got like, I know the last year that I was in it or featured was actually one of the last years that they did it, like 2001, 2002, something like that.
I think it might have been 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like NBL did a fantastic job, because it wouldn't just say who was the champion and had the picture. It would also say 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Maybe 5. I can't remember, because I obviously was never.
No, they would show the top 8, right?
Top 8? Was it top 8?
Top 8, yeah. And then in NASCA, and there, but see, NASCA had Sport Karate News, and the magazine wasn't as good. I mean, let's just be honest, it wasn't as good. They had some good articles and certain things. Like, to me, the best one was that Diamonds one I talked to you about Dave McCumber and Don Santa Maria winning, and it being like, and I wasn't there, but I felt like I was there, and I experienced it because the article was so good and the pictures and stuff. And then also the tournament where Chris Casamassa did the flying sidekick over the judges off the stage, and then ran back on the stage and finished his form. That was cool. I think I was there for that one, but I also saw the write-up, and that was cool.
Wait, what happened?
You don't remember this? So I think it was Capital Classics, 1990.
No, I definitely was not there for this.
So Chris Casamassa, he was the musical forms guy, right? He was the champion.
Yeah, that was his thing.
He did a running flying sidekick, because again, 93, that was the big thing, the flying sidekick still. And he had an awesome one. He could jump really high. He said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it over the judges, off the stage, over the judges. So he did it.
How does the guy land?
That lands behind them, because again, some tournaments he obviously couldn't do this because there was not, the judges weren't either right there. Or it was, at Capitals, they did it, and then they made sure there was no space there. So he said, all right, I'm going to do it off, land, then run back on and finish my form. That's what he did. Didn't win, but it was cool.
The risk involved in that. All it would take would be for one judge to get justifiably freaked out and go, like this. And then now your back foot like trips onto their hand, and then boom, that's it. Your head hits the concrete. Now you're in a coma because you wanted to be cool, which was pretty cool.
It's cool. But you remember big moments like that.
Yeah, I mean, well, even some local tournaments like up in the Can-Am back. So Harold Howard used to do that, where he would do like, but this isn't off stage. This was in the ring when the judges were sitting. Yeah. He would do like a running, diving forward roll over top of the judges and then come back. Harold Howard was crazy, but like there was weird stuff like that. Yeah. Like Butch Togasala in the coffin.
Yeah,
that was great.
Like
actually, I didn't see that one live, but I saw a video of that one.
Yeah. Kevin Thompson used to jump over the judges to get
from behind them. He even jumped over them, right? Yeah. Didn't Kim Do do that one? Didn't he do a double leg over him? I think he did.
The cool thing that Kim Do did was where he had the camera.
No, that was so dope.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah,
that was so dope.
In Kansas City,
I never saw footage of it.
In Kansas City, it's online right now somewhere on YouTube. You can check it. In Kansas City, I jumped over the judges and did my form. Yeah, I did that. And the other cool one that I did was I came from under the stage at Quebec City, at Quebec Open 2001, and like I was hiding under the stage, and I just kind of creeped up in like behind these tables.
Crawl up the stage like a spider.
Yeah, I did that at Super Grands too, like one of the last Super Grands too. It was cool.
Next time you're just gonna see someone's gonna get lowered from the ceiling, like they're rappelling down.
Like wrestling. Yeah,
you got to think off the stage though. It's got to be much safer than doing it level with the judges, because that's only one.
I don't know.
One judge freaking out.
But you gotta think about going off the stage though, Brett.
Yeah. I know.
It's not the height, right? Now you have depth.
The landing.
Yeah.
And then the lights aren't fantastic, right?
I get it.
Maybe you're saying like, oh, I can jump over the table, but then you don't see where the table starts, and you realize, oh crap, I got 2 feet before the table starts.
Yeah.
Now I got to clear all of that, plus the table, plus the judges. Yeah. Then I got to clear their chairs. Like, you know who would have been the bomb at that one though? Anthony Atkins.
Yeah,
that dude could have started in the middle of the ring.
It's true. Oh, for people who don't know, Harold Howard, fun fact, Bernadette Ambrosia's instructor. Okay, he was also in what was it, UFC 4?
One of the early
It was
UFCs.
either 3 or 4. Yeah, that he was in. Yeah,
He came in as an alternate in the finals. I think it's actually it might have been 2 or 3. It was
okay.
pretty early.
Yeah,
Back when it was still a
yeah, blood and guts,
whatever
yeah.
goes type of event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, good stuff. But yeah, so I'm excited to do the banquet. You know, I did go 2 years ago, but I wasn't like I was actually going around taking pictures and interviewing people as I was kind of helping a little bit with sport martial arts with some things. That was a couple years ago, and doing some stuff for Inside Scoop.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I don't know, man. I think it should be fun, and yeah, I'm busy, man. I have a lot of private lessons, and I'm a lot of competing. This year, AKA starts at 9 a.m. on Friday morning. So
yeah, some stuff. Did you start that early?
I start at 11.
Yuck.
Yeah, Korean Challenge starts at 11. Like junior sparring is starting at 9 a.m. Team sparring.
Juniors does.
Junior teams, yeah. And then at 1 p.m. is when senior CMX stuff goes. So yeah, hopefully that means I can finish early, but I doubt.
Hang tight. Hang on. Come here.
Oh,
No,
Who we
you gotta
got?
come here now. No, my daughter just decided to wake up and come over here, and she
Oh,
wanted
man.
to tell me something. No, I better get up now. If you're gonna come here and tell me now, you're gonna be up here too. Get up here.
what? Bass
Get
speaker.
over
no,
here.
Low speaker. Okay.
All right, get out of here. Well, thanks for telling me.
Oh,
No, she
man.
came over to tell me, and buckle up for this, Jeff,
Uh-huh.
that there's gonna be a snowstorm here
Yeah.
tonight, and so yeah, schools are basically gonna be canceled tomorrow, and so yeah, I think it's gonna snow pretty much like all week.
The
So
whole week.
have fun.
Oh,
Welcome
man.
to the show.
Yeah.
No, but you know what though? It doesn't matter. Chicago's a world-class city. Everybody kind of complains like, oh,
Well,
Chicago
and at
in the
least
summertime. Yeah, Chicago in the summertime. But what are you gonna do?
we're not in
Can't have the
Schaumburg,
US
though.
Open. You can't. There's only so many tournaments you can fit in the summertime.
And we're not in Schaumburg, so it's good.
We're not in Schaumburg. We're in Chicago, right?
We
Which
can
is
walk
great
everywhere.
because just being in
Really?
the city, just being in the city, all of a sudden you just look in your pocket and you're like, oh, I guess I just spent $500 sitting in this chair. But okay, all right, that's just what it cost being in Chicago. Sorry, right? But no, there's just stuff to do. So which I'm
Yeah.
excited about.
It is. So, favorite AKA moments, you know, you've had a lot since you moved there, right? Or even when
Yeah.
you went to it before too, before
Oh
you
yeah,
moved.
I went to plenty. Yeah, I went.
Yeah.
I remember I used to go to them when it was just in the gym, you know, when there
Right.
was nobody really notable there. There was a couple of years where it was
That's the
down,
Chicago
where
people.
it was like the only notable guy would be Mike Chat because Mike Chat would always go back. You know what I mean? Can't have
Right.
Mike Chat not go to AKA. You know?
Right.
But I think there was a few years where it used to run at the same time as like other tournaments. I went to it one year where it was the same year as Empire State Nationals, and Empire State Nationals at that time was a bigger deal, right?
Bigger-
The thing you got to give it to AKA is it never goes away.
No.
It'll never go away. It's
Yeah.
always been there. There was a time where it was like Sharky looked at it as an opportunity. He's like, hey, the Bluegrass Nationals is kind of hanging on by a thread. Let me grab onto that, and then I'll just buy the Bluegrass
Well,
Nationals.
that was kind of his step in to be a higher level NASCA. Because remember, what we're forgetting part 2 is when it went to NBL
It went to
for-
NBL,
and then WSKF, right?
WSKF,
and
and then there was
it
kind of like
got
this "What are we doing" moment, right?
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
kind of where they were. They were like on the "What are we doing" moment, and it's a perfect opportunity. So then there was a couple of years where they were still in Louisville, right? And then we were like, all right, we're the AKA Grand Nationals, Bluegrass
Yeah.
Nationals. Like that's the longest tournament name ever, but all right. And then they just decided, who are we? We're going back to what we know. We're going back
Yep.
to Chicago,
and we
and
got the
then we're
bank.
gonna move it back to January.
Yeah.
I guess. Here we
'Cause
are.
when we went in NBL, it wasn't in January. It was like
No, but it was in the
It used to be in
beginning.
like October.
But it was it was closer. It's got to be closer to the beginning of the year.
yeah, it was because When was Atlantic City back then? February.
Yep.
February, and then March was AKA. Yeah, because April was Ocean State. Because that year
It's been all over. I went to it before when it was at like after
you
the
went and
Diamonds,
yeah,
right?
you went right when it was after Diamond. Yeah, I know.
I also did those. All right. I've done it before when it was like in September. Before that, and I've gone it when it would be after, right? So I think. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now. My favorite moment. Where's that dang thing? I don't have very many.
Oh
trophies.
yeah, I knew.
I have very many trophies, but this one should be nearby. Where the heck is that thing? Give me one moment. I'm gonna find it.
Oh Lord,
that thing. Dang it! Hang on. I'm finding.
Share your favorite AKA moments, guys. Because of his. Yeah, true. Yeah, airline ticket prices are way cheaper this time of year. I agree. That is one thing. You can always find a good ticket price. 2 years ago, yeah, I think I was like 150 or something like that. Right now, I got mine for under 200, but I still have to drive 3 hours.
I found it. Look, I was talking to it. Look, I was trying to talk into it like that. No. I found it. So I got this. Not that big of a deal. It's just a cup. This thing. I've told this story before, haven't I, Jeff?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm gonna give you the cliff notes for this. Is my favorite one because it involves me in whatever, right? So at one point, Ryan McGriff had kicked the shit out of everybody in K. And I don't make beat him up, but like he literally just kicked everybody, right? And none of the guys had an answer for him, right? He kicked Greg Batlock in the face over and over. He kicked BJ Carnahan in the face over and over. For a time, Hamid Feruzzi could not beat him, right? And it would just always get him. He beat everybody, right? And I would go bonkers over this. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you guys, right? I don't know how you let this guy beat you. They're like, oh, Alex, you don't understand. And I'm like, no, I fully understand. The guy is a skinny right leg kicker and his foot's going to be in the air the whole time. What don't you understand about that? They're like, dude, you don't understand. Because I'm trash talking the heck out of them, right? And I'm like, no, you know what I'm going to do. You have an answer for me. How the heck don't you have an answer for him? You think he's better than me? You think he's a better kicker than me? Sure. Right? And that's what I started saying to him. And so I got him all pissed off. They're like, because we have to fight CJB in the finals. NK's got to fight CJB in the finals for the team fight.
Right.
And we were trying to figure out, Matt, we had no coach. We had no nothing, right? It was just a couple guys out there going out and fighting. That's really all we were, right? We won some championships doing it like that, right? This was our coaching. Because BJ was a more senior black belt than all of us. We let BJ make the call. And so literally this was our call. We'd just sit there on the line until BJ would do this. BJ would go, Greg, go. He would just have to run. No discussion, no game plan, nothing. So here I decide, why don't we have a game plan? And I execute it by shit talking all of them, right? And so that was my game plan. So finally, they all kind of teamed up. Jamie Cravens, everybody. They're all like, dude, fine. If they send him out first, you're going out there. Watch him kick you in the face. And I'm like, fine. So then later, this literally that was it. And then we just left. We just left the hotel room and then just started walking down. And I storm off in front of them because I'm pissed. We're yelling at each other, literally yelling at each other right before we're going to go fight. And then I start thinking to myself, like, shit, what did I get myself into? What if I lose? What the hell am I going to do now? Right?
Oh, man.
So we don't lose. I beat him. All right, give a good enough lead. BJ beats Ross Levine, and then Renee Perrault can't find Hamid Feruzzi. All right, you get Hamid Feruzzi on a stage with a lead, you're not going to touch the guy. It's just impossible, right? So that's how it started, right? How it ended is I was so happy that I fulfilled my prediction. Then I'm like, guys, we go to the bar and we drink out of this all night. And we did. And Richard Plowden told me I was absolutely nuts, right? And he was accurate that night. And I'm like, listen, I'm just going to own it. I lost, right? Jason Borelli was the tournament champion, did a corkscrew after winning too. That was cool, right? And then, hey, that was my favorite. Okay. So
I like it.
There's that one.
So Brett, we were talking before, you've only been to one, right? That was 2000.
I only did 2000 when it was an NBL.
Yeah.
And yeah.
What are some things that you think you remember about that? Because I was there too. That was my first actually AKA as well that year.
For real? So, that was your first one.
Yeah.
That
I didn't
was
do it before that.
right. But if I remember correctly, was that when? So Lee Pei was still from the NBL. Lee Pei was the NBL soft stylist.
He was, but a lot of us
He was
saw
the
him.
NASCAR guy too.
Okay,
Yeah,
so, but I thought that NASCA had someone. Was that when Lee Pei
Lee Pei
and
unit 2000. He was the
Yeah,
NASCAR soft style guy
because
also.
DeMarco was there with MB because JPM was there. It was
Yep.
a JPM tournament that year. So yeah.
So
yeah.
that was a great matchup. And then that might be the only time I ever saw KA compete live.
Get
Oh.
out for real.
Yeah, because I didn't do NASCA at all. So that might
Okay,
have
so
been.
wait. So did Anthony DeMarco, did he compete that year?
Yeah, him and Lee Pei competed
Dude,
head to
Against
head.
Joe, that was cool.
That's a
And
soft style matchup for the ages.
Yeah.
They're both so cool.
Yeah.
And John
Anthony
Sue was there
DeMarco
that
is
year. I mean, it was a lot.
But no, when I always joke with Travis about this too is what I loved about going to Chicago tournaments or Detroit tournaments as a fighter.
There it is.
So used to they would just beat the crap out of each other. If you kept your head down, you could just sashay quietly up to the leaders bracket, take first place, and walk away, and nobody cared because they were just trying to destroy each other. And I won more first place in Detroit and Chicago and point fighting than I have anywhere else because I just stepped back, let all the Detroit and Chicago guys kill each other, and then I would just slowly just sneak my way up to the top of the bracket, win my fight, and walk away.
You're not wrong. Listen, you're not wrong because that is it's kind of like a guy in the NBA getting a quiet 38 points a game because he did it mostly on free throws, right? But this is different. The difference is they want to see like the badass. They want to see Richard Plowden and Scorpion Barrage fight each other, right? That's what they want to see, right?
Even in the juniors at the time, it was like
that's what it really was great.
Leroy
was the juniors.
and Willie Hicks, they were going at it, right? And
that was probably one of the better matchups. Was that one?
Yeah, definitely back then. Yeah, that was always a good one. And then when it became an NBL one, there was a lot of just interesting matchups, especially in that year, like you said, in 2000, because JPM came, CJB had people, or we were elite then, like a few of us came to that, like getting to see like Jason versus Preston in AKA, right? James Harden. Wow. You had Raymond and Jason fighting each other. There's just a lot of cool events. And then even people that, because at that time they would let the senior fighters go into the overall. So, like you had, Richard Plowden winning when he was in his, 40s, right? It's like, all right, like this is really different, right? So a lot of cool moments.
He fought and won one year when he was on SES, right?
Yeah.
99.
Yeah, 99.
The year before I went. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And
so
2001 for me was
just say that I'm like super excited that you're here, Brett, but I'm also a little bummed out that we don't have another guest. And and when he said he couldn't come, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I'm gonna say it. We were gonna have Richard Plowden on the show, guys. Right. Yeah, insiders. He said he was gonna come, and then he was like, "Wait, what am I talking about? Michigan's playing in the national championship game."
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, makes sense.
I get it.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get Coach on the show.
Prize. I get it. No. I'll say it. That if you have to choose between me and Richard Plowden, I take Richard Plowden every day.
I just if he said yes, I'm like I text Jeff right away like, dude, he said yes.
yeah.
So hey, hopefully Coach comes back on the show another time soon. All right.
Yeah, probably. I think in 2 weeks is probably when we're gonna.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. So after our Chicago reviews and everything like that. So
yeah.
All right. So another for me, the biggest one. I mean, honestly, the last 2 years have been big and been really fun. Like coming back 2 years ago. I don't know. Honestly, doing my musical form on stage and everyone being like going nuts like it was 20 years ago was pretty fun, right? You remember that? Well, you had the video. You were like, "This is awesome."
I don't know if there is one.
Yeah, we'll do that as well. But you remember, right, Alex? It was fun. It was cool, right?
Dude, it was so fun. And
Yeah.
so
And a lot of people hadn't
here's
seen
what I
it in years.
appreciate about the finals at AKA, okay, is it's transparent. Like some finals, like let's just say the Diamonds. It's a staple tournament. Like it's
Right.
it. Like it's
Yeah.
the standard. But if you were like, what the Diamonds does different though is their finals is not as long as the AKA's, right? AKA's finals in length, it is a long finals,
Yeah.
longer than some, and you just kind of understand that going into it, right?
Right.
And there's a lot more forms because you have to compete for the Warrior Cup
Right.
because you don't just win like CMX, men's CMX.
So some of
Grand
the
Championship.
grands, so most of the grands already ran off ahead of time.
Well, and that's
It's-
where they're starting to improve, right? So if that's already over, then it's like, all right, now we're just competing for the Warrior Cup. But in
It
years
is
past,
between-
they did that. You would compete
Yeah.
for your grand championship. Then
Right.
you would back in the finals again, right?
Right.
You would compete again for the Warrior Cup. And if you guys don't understand how the Warrior Cup works, is they will take all junior forms will
Winner.
compete, like boys and girls, for a Warrior Cup winner for forms. Same with weapons for one. Same with men and women forms,
Weapons and forms.
men and women weapons, and then men's fighting and women's fighting.
Right.
So it's different. There are other tournaments that do things like that. I think compete does the gold medallion, right?
Used to. I don't think they do that
They don't do
anymore.
that one anymore.
Metal was doing that for a little bit.
But you guys
Yeah.
think the Warrior Cup's got to be the longest running,
It
right?
is. It's the
It's got the longest
running,
running
sport
just
martial arts tournament.
unique,
Yeah.
unique win, different than whatever's being in the ratings or anything else. It's
Right.
just you come to Chicago, win the Warrior Cup.
And now that
And
it's
it's the
first
award. The
tournament-
award is so much cooler too. Like look
it
at
is.
look
But yeah,
at the award. It's
Right.
awesome.
yeah, it's awesome. And now that it's the first tournament of the year too, it just puts like it's huge, right? So
It's
yeah,
one way to put a big stamp on your year,
on your year, yeah.
right
exactly.
from the get go.
Exactly. So it's going to be fun. It's exciting, especially when you're trying to get up there, get up there on that stage and just be in the Warrior Cup. That's
Yeah.
that first step, right? A lot of time, well, the one year for me, like I was close to a Warrior Cup, but we bowed out of the finals in 2001. And so that was something that I'll just never kind of forget. It's because I was supposed to go up there and compete and do intergalactic for the finals. And yeah, man,
You had
that
a
would
hot
have been
year that
fun.
year too.
Yeah, it would have been fun, but it happens. It's all good. So who knows? All right. So we've talked about those AKA moments. Let's go before we do our predictions for AKA for our Warrior Cup. I want to hear your competitor of the week, and then we'll go into that. Then we'll
My competitor of the week is Brian Rodriguez. All right. So Brian Rodriguez has been around for a hot minute. And listen, I don't think he's faster than he used to be. I don't think so. I don't think he's a better kicker than he used to be. Not at all. But if you watch the guy fight, he is clearly way smarter.
Oh
right?
yeah.
He is using his body so much better. And it's like, and it's like he's sunning like some of the younger fighters, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, sit down, son. Only I don't know how you say that in Spanish, right? But
Right.
anyway, it just watch him, and I'm maybe it's the old man in me, but I look at it and I'm like, I'm more of a fan of you now than
Right.
when you were at your physical peak. He's actually a much better fighter, and I'm going to tell you this: I could totally see him fighting in the Warrior Cup final. I think
yeah.
that could
So-
be a reality that
Because-
Brian Rodriguez could be fighting
Yeah.
for the final for the Warrior Cup. Why not? Right.
Yeah.
And I just look at some of his recent past performances, right? They almost beat top 10 USA at the Diamonds. And I think it was beatable, and I think he was he was probably the brightest spot on that team. I thought he was fantastic, right? And
he still has that over the shoulder kick that at one point you're like, it's not getting there. Remember we were talking about VFT? Where it's not getting at the shoulder anymore. Now, like he was hitting Ryan George with that several times at Pan Am's, like
well, this is what happens with kickers. What happens with kickers is we remember everything. We know how to do everything. And then we chamber, and there is a massive difference when you chamber and your chamber is over someone's shoulder. But if it's just a little bit in the middle of their arm, let's go down 4 inches. Oh yeah, you're going to get jammed. All right. Boom. That's easy. That's easy to get jammed. All right. If your distance of your slide, if you increase your distance by 2 inches, dude, that's massive. If you're 2 inches shy, you feel a mile away. Right. And so it's humbling for kickers because we think we're always the same. Right. It's always like that. And I've been like that. I've watched other kickers like that. And I'm like, man, you don't see what we all see. You don't see what we see. Just stop doing that. Don't kick the same way. But how you tell a kicker to, and I'm not saying he is, right? Because he's more than just that, right? But how do you tell a kicker to not do their best thing?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's hard, but that's what was happening. Is that was just his lead side kick that set up that kick, or that set up the follow up. It just was not being as effective anymore. But I think he's kind of understood that too. Maybe I just think he's changed. He's just changed his fighting, and I just think that he's much more efficient overall. And look at me. I'm a fan of the efficiency. I was wildly inefficient as a fighter. Loved it, owned it, knew it, didn't care. This guy, I just like it.
Yeah.
Hey, I know who I am.
Oh man, good stuff. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing him. All right, let's do this real fast before we get to that, because this is a good topic. What is the region versus region rivalries that is happening today that is similar to Detroit or Chicago, or the old school New York versus West Coast? I don't remember really a New York versus West Coast. Now, for me, going to a lot of West Coast tournaments, it was the Bay. It was Northern California versus SoCal. That was really heated. That was like, well, there was plenty of times where I had to shut the tournament down because of riots and because of fights. Okay, so that was a whole nother level. I'm sure in New York there was dojo wars. I think in New York, right?
Yeah. New York and Boston was a thing. I wasn't present for a lot of that, but I think what the answer to kind of what Angel's saying for right now, it's probably Florida and Georgia.
Yeah.
It's tough though too, because you got to look at what regions are close. Like Chicago and Detroit are close, right? NorCal and SoCal are still 8-10 hours away.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a flight to get to those guys.
Yeah.
But even though, I mean, anymore, I wouldn't even say like the Baltimore, Philly, New York thing is as divided as it. I think they're more combined as a one big unit than they used to be. It's not like Philly fighters going up to New York or vice versa, or even Philly and Baltimore.
Right.
Baltimore is its own thing. Baltimore is a fight. It don't matter who's there. Baltimore is just completely different. When I moved to Delaware and I first went to my first tournament in Baltimore, I was like, oh, this is what we're doing. Okay. What's
that mean, Brett? What's that mean?
So it's like, you're not fighting in a ring, but you're not fighting in a caged in ring, but yes, you are.
But it feels like it.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
There's a wall of people. You get kicked into the crowd, they're going to push you back in. I've had judges tell me, like, if you're not going to punch this dude, I'm not going to call your points after I'm blasting this guy. And there's like, Baltimore is an experience, man. I think every good fighter needs to go to Baltimore.
Yeah,
one time.
I grew up going to those tournaments. It was pretty intense, scary. I don't know. As far as another one, for me around here, like I kind of thought North Carolina, South Carolina were more unified than divided in a lot of ways, and they would be like, all right, the Carolinas are going to Georgia, or the Carolinas are going to Virginia. You know, it was more of that.
That's a good point.
So I don't know if that's one.
What about Texas? I've never competed a lot
So-
in Texas, so I don't know how Houston versus.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. Yeah, there.
You know, there's always been this before, and we've heard it on the show.
Louisiana, Texas is one that I feel like. Louisiana, Texas is one that I remember seeing.
Boom! Angel just said what I was about to say.
Orlando.
Orlando and Miami, right
Yeah,
there.
That's
Because
true.
I remember when we had Alex Reyes on the show, he talks about that a lot too.
Yeah. Well, and Peyton talks about that too a lot. She says as well as like as an Orlando fighter going down there, it's intense, it's fun, you know. So yeah, I would say that would be one. And I know for me, when I was younger, going to those events, it was like that, you know, because I went to both. I didn't ever go to Pan Am's, but I always went to Gold Coast Open, which was in Fort Lauderdale, and then we go to Orlando, and it was a lot of rivalries there, and a lot of good competitors too.
And actually, I think, and we can move on to the next thing, but I really feel like what is a good one is probably Detroit and Canada,
Yeah,
because they're so
Yeah.
close
so close.
and they're so good, right?
Yeah.
That is what keeps these things going. Let's talk about Detroit and Chicago right now, okay? For 10 years, we're just top heavy as all get out.
Yeah.
And not a bunch underneath, right?
Right.
And dude, my homie, Dwan Brown, all right, he would say that all the time. He'd be like, dude, Chicago is top heavy as anything else. Like the top guys here could win anywhere in the country, could win anywhere in the world.
Yep.
But there's not a lot of other people, right? And that's just kind of the way it is. Detroit in Canada, though, in that area of Canada,
Right.
that's a nice one, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's a good one. That's a good answer.
That is a good one. All right. Here we go. So, both for predictions for Warrior Cup. All right. So, let's go. Do you want to start with juniors? I know you probably don't know much about that. I don't know about you.
I don't
we
really
could-
get into a lot of junior predictions, but I am
So,
going to make.
for me, it's important now for me.
I'm going to
because-
make a couple.
because I have a lot of competitors now that I'm coaching and teaching, right? So, you know, as far as top, you know, 3 that to look for in the forms category for the forms, right? Let's just say junior forms. You got to put, I feel like you got to put Amanda Durarte in there. She's done a great job. She could probably get that spot. If she doesn't get that spot, to me, it would be Maddie Wiersma. So those 2 could probably get that spot for that 1300 girl, right? Doing many different things. It could be traditional. It could be open. It could be lots of things.
So you think that one's that's your lock?
No. I'm just saying to be in it. To be
Yeah,
in, because
okay.
really just to get in it is like
I know.
really tough, right? And
Yeah.
then you're gonna go. I mean, the returning champion is Avery Presley, right? She, you know, being one of the first girls to win it, you know, that's a huge thing last year, right? I'd say the a safe bet or someone would be Pia. Sophia probably has a great shot of doing this. Is one of her last year's competing, you know, she is in that 16, 17.
Is
And
she
then-
gonna turn 18 this year? I think she's probably going to, isn't she?
I don't think so. I think this is her last year. But I'm not sure. And then one more person. I mean, I don't know. I think he can win in the weapons or forms, and that's Zeke Gomez. Zeke is someone I've been working with. He won his weapons is just insane. So I feel like his weapons definitely, but his creative forms, he's also won overall grands with creative forms too. The thing is, he's moving up into that 14, 15. He was 13 under last year. So it's really interesting to see, you know, what's going to happen there. Who else? I don't know. Who are some other people as far as for forms that you could think of?
Well, I got one. I think Colin O'Brien's going to win a Warrior Cup.
Well, he's moving up to adults, buddy. So.
No, he's not.
Oh, he's not?
I don't know if he's going to move up right away.
Oh, okay. You think he's going to stay down? Okay. I thought he's moving up.
But why would you?
Well, it's true.
If you've never won a Warrior Cup,
Yeah.
right? And I'm just think in that mindset for a moment.
Yeah.
You've never won a Warrior Cup, and it's a Warrior Cup, right? Can't belittle it. Okay. And you're not 18 yet. Let's say you're 18 next month. Why not just compete this tournament and then move up? You know, if that,
Right.
that means something to you, why not? Okay.
Right.
It's totally within, it's actual, it's math, right?
Right.
So I think if he does it, he wins. That's what I say. Right.
Weapons. Do you have anybody
Yeah.
that you could? No. All right.
I mean, think about it, he's there. He's kind of that guy. He's the champ. I mean, plus he's AKA. That doesn't hurt.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah, we were gonna avoid that. But all right.
But he's
weapons-
deserving, but it doesn't hurt.
All right, the weapons winner last year, he pretty much was done after winning that. That was Shane. And so who is going to win the weapons this year? That's the interesting part. Are we going to go?
I just got notice. Colin's going up.
Oh yeah, see, all right, that's what I thought. All right, yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, him and Joe are moving up, I believe. So it's going to be exciting because those are names that could win the adult. Because here's the deal: the adult Warrior Cup is
too hard.
Yes, but at the same time, oh yeah, Michael Molina. We got Michael Molina as well.
It's
but
so hard.
No, but Alex, you're forgetting how many times has a person won the Warrior Cup in their first tournament as an adult? It's happened a lot at the AKA Warrior Cup.
What I'm meaning
Micah
like
Karn last year, Esteban Tremblay.
I know that.
It's happened, right? It's happened a lot.
What I'm saying is so hard is if you take the pool of talent from the adult, let's say adult weapons,
right?
Let's just say that, right? It's so deep. You're like 10 people deep.
Well, this is what I was telling you before. That's what I said. Hey, let's say our top 3 picks, because honestly, like I said, last year, the person that a lot of people were predicting to win the Warrior Cup didn't even make the finals, didn't even win first place. Salif, right?
Yeah.
Esteban won, right? So, and he won that. You know, you also have crazy. Diego won the traditional grand, you know, the year before it was Mason Stowell, you know, like there's so many different ones, man. Like,
yeah,
it's wild. You know, Justin Chang won his first year as an adult.
Yeah.
Right. So, and was done after that. So it's wild.
I think, yeah. So it's to say, yeah, Colin could win as an adult. That's totally possible.
Right.
Damian saying Rashad is due. Yeah, can't disagree with that.
Nope.
Right?
Nope.
You can't, but then it's like, oh, did we forget to talk about Ben Jones? Yeah.
Right.
Like,
holy
Dawson crap.
Holt.
Oh,
Dawson Holt. Yeah.
Dawson Holt. Maybe this Esteban Tremblay guy.
Yeah,
what? Look at how deep we are.
Guess who's moving up this year in weapons? Philip Brume, you know, like, you know, I mean, when we have informed Joseph Troya, we have Colin O'Brien. Like, it's nuts, man. And then we haven't even mentioned
your division.
We haven't even mentioned any like traditional guys, because guess what? Traditional,
I know,
has been winning a lot of these head-to-head things. You know, like look at the junior grands. Most of the time, in forms, traditional wins, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
we got one traditional name just dropped in the comments.
Thank you. Yes, sir. I'm hoping to win 2 spots, to make 2 spots. So
good.
That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm trying to make that senior one and the traditional one, and then I have to choose if I'm going to do open forms or I'm going to do traditional. So that's what my plan is. So
wait, are we doing a Korean challenge this year?
Yes, Korean challenge is happening as well at AKA. So
are you doing that one?
I will be doing this one. Yep.
Okay.
I'll be doing this one.
Cool.
Yep. And then what else we got? Oh, and the other thing, females, you know, like there's going to be a lot of, Haley Glass. We got Katie McMillan, you know, fresh off of winning her diamond. There's a lot of people, and I'm not sure who all is moving up in the female side, but there are a lot moving up. So it should be really interesting.
But what's most important is the storyline, right?
Yeah.
And let me explain. So you could say something like, oh, Haley Glass is going to win, or Esteban Tremblay is going to win. because they're that good and they probably just won the last time that some. If you hadn't paid attention to a karate tournament like all year last year,
Right.
and you would say, "Oh, Haley Giles is going to win," and Esteban Tremblay is going to win, you'd be like, "Okay, well, you're just not even paying attention, and they still might win." And then you're
Right.
like, "Okay,
Right.
well, you still didn't pay attention, right?" But it's that crazy, right? It's
Yeah.
that deep.
Well, I know Haley. That's what she wants. She wants to be like the first woman to win a Warrior Cup, right? One of
Right.
the first women to win. Like that's what she's been gunning for. She's had some bad luck the past couple years. Like last year, she came in with an injury. So interesting.
Yeah,
to see,
that was obvious to see as well.
Right. Right. So
It was really a bummer.
anybody you think, as far as on the Trish side, that you think has a shot?
On the traditional side, depends on. I mean, I think the traditional side, at least in the Japanese, all depends on who shows up.
Yeah.
I think
Speak on that. What do you mean?
if Mason shows up, it's his. Honestly, I don't see anybody on the open circuit beating Mason in Japanese Okinawa. I just don't. But then again, if he doesn't show up, then it's kind of open. You got Cam, you got Diego does well in the Japanese Okinawan division. Joey, if he decides to show up, it always decides.
Yeah.
Sam Diaz is in there as well. It all just depends on who shows up.
Right.
But I think if Mason shows up, it's his division, unless he stumbles.
Yeah. The only person that's beaten him has been Kaio. Kaio beat him at Rhode Island last year. So, and I don't think he's coming. But if he did, that would be interesting as well. So, we're going to see, man. Everybody's got a lot.
I will say that I know for a fact he's not registered for the WKF event this weekend. So, there's no sport karate competitors that will be in Athens. They will all, if they are going to a tournament, they're not going to a WKF tournament. I can say that for a fact.
So maybe he will be there.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's why we need you giving the inside scoop.
See, I know that there was a possibility of one, but that's not happening. So all sport karate competitors will be at a sport karate event if they're coming this weekend.
All right. So Damien says Alexi Jimenez is coming for that Warrior Cup. So we're into the women's.
Yeah.
I like it. I like, you know what? Like she's someone who we were talking about a lot in her first year. And guess what? Ended up being Katarina, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think, that's what we were talking about. Whoever it is on martial arts.
Let's chat about that. Now that we brought it up, I think Katarina Herman really shocked a lot of people and was like, what the heck do I do with that?
Right.
And you've all fought people like that before where you're like, all right, well, you're just, I don't really know what to do with that. You don't know what to do with that until you know what to do with that.
Yeah, they seem to
and
figure.
Once you have a plan for it, you're like, oh, I have a plan for this. And then once people start to figure out that plan, that's on you, Katarina, to adjust, because some people started to figure out that movement. Because it looked like Katarina had Katana figured out, and then at the Diamonds, Katana was like, I got a plan for that. And Katarina could not find her, could not get her. And so I'm really excited to see what happens with the women, because there's quite a bit.
Talent. Yeah. Minna will be back.
Yeah.
Katarina, Katana, who honestly is fighting her best right now.
I think she's fighting the best she's ever fought. I think if I were to pick a winner for the Warrior Cup from the women, I would pick Katana Everett. Right.
Yeah. There's some other ones I know right now. I'm not even going to say names. I just know someone. I'll just say this. There's someone on Revolution who has sent me every time they train, and it's saying, hey, I'm ready. Hey, I'm ready. I want my Warrior Cup. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, all right, I've never seen this fire from this person before, so I'm excited for that. Oh, all right. 30 plus overall fights for stage for the Warrior Cup. Alex is
bump that age up a little bit. 30 plus. You kidding me? If I was a young pup, maybe. Just bump that age up a little bit.
Amber
right,
says,
Jeff, joining our age group. Yeah, we didn't even say this. Congratulations, Jeff.
For what?
Happy birthday, Jeff. We didn't even say anything about this. Look at that.
40, man. 40. Yeah, I'll be doing some 40 divisions this year too. 30, 40, and 18. That's the first goal of this year is to win.
That's crazy.
At this weekend's to win all three age groups at this tournament. So
I'm telling you, I love I love the 40 and over division. It's my favorite. Like I used to pick on it when I was younger. Now that I'm up there, because we all know where we're at. There's no testosterone in
But
that
wait,
ring. We are
the
all just chill, and we're there
That's
to have
true.
fun, and it's just a laid back experience in the 40 and over division.
Yeah,
It's
the
great.
40,
was
the
fun.
40 plus is the scariest one, and I'm going to say why. So the 40 plus, it's because, like, I remember when I paid attention to it. I didn't probably pay attention to it until like 99 or 2000, right? I sincerely did not pay attention to the division. If somebody made it out of there, I was like, oh, cool, you made it out of there, right? But
Okay.
then once you start paying attention to it and you're like, what? Steve Nash Anderson is fighting in the 40 plus?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Wait,
Ah,
what? Yeah.
right?
Terry
And you're like,
Kramer,
this is
yeah.
not fair. This
Right.
is because then you got guys who started karate at 36, 37 years old,
Correct.
and they're 40, 41, something like that. And they're maybe been a black belt for like 6 months to a year, and they want to do a tournament. Wouldn't this be fun? And you draw Nasty Anderson first round, right? And they don't know no better. But
No.
that's the crazy part is you can get we're all black belts and you all know what you signed up for. But that's the crazy part. When you're fighting the 40 plus, you could fight a guy who's okay, right? You could fight a guy who used to be really good, but now they're just they're there, but they're still competing. Or you could fight a freaking legend, right? Terry
Yeah.
Kramer was doing that too.
Yeah. Terry Kramer.
And
Terry
Kevin
Kramer was
Owens-
fighting.
the good thing
Terry
about
Kramer
that,
was fighting in the 50s.
you still wouldn't figure it out because he's still just gonna wear like some white pants and a t-shirt,
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
just gonna be like, "Who is this guy?"
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's so nice too. He's just a nice man and an individual that when you're just kind of standing around, if you didn't know, you wouldn't know, right?
Yeah.
And then you find him and you're like, oh my goodness, right?
Right.
I think he backfisted my spine out of place.
All right. Any other picks for women's? Any other names you want to throw out there? Well, you had talked before. I missed the show, but you said Mina is someone you think's gonna.
I think she's gonna have a good year in 2024. That's a tough call for me to say she's gonna win the Warrior Cup. Now that could be a surprise win.
Right.
I was saying on the previous show that I like her progress to this point,
Yeah.
and I think 2024. I'm saying mid-year, end of the year, she might surprise some people.
Yeah.
That's where I think she's at.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
that'd be one
it's
heck of a
tough.
bold prediction. I don't think she's gonna pull out a Warrior Cup first
Right.
round, but hey,
Right.
you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
to
still
me,
think
it's gonna be
I
exciting.
would pick Katana, but
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
All right. Men's.
Well, wait,
So-
before we go, I do have two women that I think could do something. Gosh, and I'm forgetting. Well, one, I think I don't know if Peyton Fender's going to compete. Is Peyton going to compete?
Yeah. She's
All right.
competing. Yeah.
I'm going to watch Peyton for sure. But who is
For
man,
me, Brianna Nurse, I feel like
No.
is pumped up. I'm
Yeah.
excited. Who else?
who's the little one from Michigan? Who's the little girl? Like she's not. I don't want to say girl, woman.
Avery Sutter.
Avery Sutter. right.
Yeah. She's fun to watch.
I think like she's always got the talent, she's got the speed, she's got the technique, she's got the skill. I think this could be a year where it comes together. And we're saying all these things. We have no idea what their training's like. You know, we just know what it should be. If you're competing at that level, we know what it should be. So we'll see.
Yeah, and remember last year there was a lot of people from Mexico here last year too. So
Oh, that's right.
I'm interested to see. I mean, for me, Kayla Mejia's back, and she is fighting really good. So I think she has a good shot. Yamina is back. It's just going to be exciting. So, men
And women's teams, huh?
honestly,
Ooh.
well, yeah, but men, for me, this has to be the year that Bailey wins, right? That's
I
an easy one
completely
for me to do that. But if it isn't Bailey, Tyreek, I think Tyreek is someone who wants it.
Well, hang on. It's got to be 4 people. It's got to be the lightweight, the heavyweight, the 30 plus, and the
then
open weight.
Yeah.
So I think, all right, this is where I say, hey, maybe Brian, maybe that's him. You know,
Yeah,
I
it's
could
the
totally
heavyweight.
see that happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about Devin Hopper though? Devin Hopper is on fire.
Devin Hopper's on fire. Can't
I mean, you
Cam
can't.
Dawson's still Cam
Yeah.
Dawson.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't really pick against, Avery Plowden.
No.
Look at all
And-
that
And
heavyweight.
there's a lot of good
Yo,
guys. You
man.
know, you still have Christian who made it on stage last year. You know, you had Justice Floyd win his first, championship last year and lost in the grand. You know, like
I would
there's
like
a
to
lot of different
see.
guys.
I would like to see a new guy in the finals.
Yeah.
That would be fun to see. Like if you were to see Justice in there, that would be great to see. Listen,
Last
I'll
year,
put
I
it out
think
there. I don't really talk about him.
won
I don't
30
really
bucks.
talk about him much because we're tight. But dude, Lonzo Payne.
Yep.
That's
I
a
would love
guy
to-
who's like he's
I would
always
love
like,
to-
ah man, is it
Yeah.
right there, right there? Oh, So that would be something good.
All right. Last thing,
No,
men's
no,
women's
no.
team.
Here's one.
Oh,
'Cause
all right. Sorry.
we got to think about this because you said Bailey Murphy, of course, right? And if you're like, wow, man, how would if Bailey Murphy doesn't win the lightweight, who could it be? Yeah, you picked Tyreek Saint.
Yeah.
But Bailey
Yeah.
Murphy didn't beat Tyreek Saint at the Diamonds.
Well,
But
they
Luis
weren't.
Nunez did.
Yeah, you're right. Luis is
Luis
someone
Nunez.
who's a beast, man. I love watching. He's one of my favorite fighters. I don't know if you've seen him.
No, not seen yet.
Oh, dude, and he
He's
fights heavyweights really well too.
And you
Like
know why? You know why he's so good?
Him
What's-
have an awesome fight.
when you look at Luis Nunez fight, what's his best thing?
He's just
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
When you're trying to take and you're like, all right, I got to take this away from him. What is it?
yeah. Right. Exactly. All right, teams. Is that who you think? Do you think Diamond does it? Do you think Diamond pulls it off? They could. They are a well-rounded team.
They're a well-rounded team. I'm gonna go straight up.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's yeah. Would you say the same
For the
thing?
men's, you really come down to three, right? It's either JPM straight up or
There's always, you never know, man. You get
10,
I
Legend,
can see next
Legend
level
has-
winning. Who knows? You get, but maybe we get a little bit more going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's
Top 10
difficult.
could still win. You don't know.
Yeah,
that was the one of the top three I named, right? JPM.
yeah. Because I'm interested.
Yeah.
Because so Enrique
Top
won't
10.
be in with top 10. So you're gonna have Tyreek, Mason Bumba, and who else comes. You know, if Blake comes, that's still a solid team.
That's a great team. That's
a great team.
Still
you
a
know?
championship level team.
Yeah.
It's crazy that Mason Bumba would be a heavyweight on that team.
Yeah.
But the way he was fighting, man, he was good.
Oh,
He was really good.
He's fighting good.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I mean, JPM definitely always a favorite. But I mean, I do think, Diamonds definitely has, it's a team that are sleepers. Like there's no one in there that's going to get ran over. Right. So
They're full of sleepers that
Yep.
that nobody picks first.
right.
But and then you look at them in the finals for the team fighting championship. Be like, wait a minute, all these teams were here.
Yeah.
You guys made it, and did nobody pick you?
Right.
Holy shit! You know what you got to do? You got to go. You got to look at that and say, Damian Rodriguez,
Brayon
are that good? Damian Rodriguez is a
Oh, he's amazing.
fantastic coach.
He is a great coach.
Fantastic.
All right, women's teams. We got a lot right here saying Team Revolution. Definitely, I definitely agree with that. And we'll have probably two teams. So that's going to be awesome to see.
You know what
Yeah.
I think? I think JPM.
I mean, JPM
think-
is, it's hard.
I think but their best success for team I think if they have Katana fight first
Right.
and have Katarina. If Katarina just does Katarina and let Katana fight the first fight like it's the anchor fight,
Yeah.
I think that might be their best recipe for success.
Right.
But hey, the fighters got to go fight the fights. You
Yeah.
can have the greatest game plan ever, and then the fighters go fight fights, and you're like, oh, that didn't work. Well, you never know. But
Well, and the thing is, right now, JPM, Revolution, there's some other good teams too. Diamond has some amazing fighters. You got K-Talk.
K-Talk got two women
K-Talk
right now,
has
yeah.
2 women right now. There's a lot right now, man, that are really good too. Legend always has a good team, you know, Straight Up has a good team. So man, these women divisions are being just as competitive now as the men's, and it's really a fun time to just sit at the women's
Yeah.
ring and watch.
I'll be honest. When I watch it online, I'd rather watch the women right
Oh, yeah.
now than the men in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And in forms, especially. In Japanese forms, we talked about this already,
Yeah.
Alex. You can look at me right now. In the Japanese forms division, the women are picking better forms that fit themselves.
Speak on
Compared to
that.
the men,
Speak on
not
that,
even
Brett.
the men aren't even close.
Well. No, you said something more interesting. You said the women are picking better forms.
Yes.
Lean into that. What do you mean?
So, perfect example, right? Gabriella's running Kisamoto, Kusanku, or Popperin. Very technical form. For her body, she's long, she's lengthy. That form looks really good. Katie McMillan, she's a powerful, powerful woman. And she's running a non. And when she steps forward with those power strikes, it just resonates. We have a lot of big, powerful men out there trying to do technical forms. We got some small, skinny, technical guys trying to do big power forms. It doesn't fit them. The women are picking the right forms that, hands down, they're picking the forms that fit their body and sell the form the best. I'd rather watch the women's Japanese division than the men's right now. Me personally.
Boom.
You
Bold
know,
prediction.
Brett, you
You're
might
not-
be onto something or you're on something.
Yep.
Hey, you never know.
I think that is an
That's a great point.
astute observation.
Yep.
I think that's fantastic.
It's like,
I
oh,
love that take that you just
yeah.
had right
Well, it is. It's huge. It's huge.
But that's all I know. Don't ask me about Korean. Don't ask me about Kempo. I only know Japanese, and that's what I want. That's what I
Brett,
want.
don't kid yourself. Everybody knows a little Korean.
That is true.
Everybody knows a little Korean. Don't try and say I don't know Korean. Everybody does.
Yeah.
You even know Gay Beck.
Well, yeah.
See?
Well, that's fair. I was NBL. You know, we can do 17 divisions since like
That's
1984.
right. That's right.
All right. That's true.
Oh man. All right. So I'm getting in 9 a.m. Thursday morning. So
Man.
be ready for that. Getting
What
excited.
time- wait a minute. What
Um,
time is the banquet?
6 p.m. they do registration. So 7 p.m. it opens. So yep.
Yo, hey Edgar, are you gonna be there? Let's go
Okay.
hang out this time, Edgar. What up with
Edgar-
that?
Edgar will
We got-
be there.
We got stuck by the vaccine cards you had to have last time. Nobody knew about.
That was 2 years ago. But last
know.
year
That's
we went. We left. You stayed. Remember?
What are you talking about?
Last year we went out. You didn't.
Where'd you guys go?
My lips are sealed.
yeah, okay.
I'm just kidding. I enjoyed. I had a fun time watching everyone act crazy.
That's you know
Anyways,
what? That's what you do. You're a fly on the wall, and you gather information. Like, oh, I got a story for the inside
the
scoop next
thing-
time.
the thing last year. Oh, I
The
think
names of this story
think he's
shall be changed.
time out. I think Keith Weston is coming this year too. And if he decides to compete,
Is he
now
gonna
that's
compete?
I don't know, man. That would be fun. So yeah, no. Ooh.
That kind of doesn't that kind of mess all the predictions up right there?
I'm gonna
See,
try
it's
to
stuff
ignore
like
it.
that happens. You know, it's stuff
Yeah.
like that where it's like, what do you mean?
Oh,
What do you mean
wait,
Jack Felton's in the building? Someone saw Jack Felton? Yeah, I saw him going up the escalator. What? Well, that
What?
changes everything.
Yeah, yeah. Or like, oh wait, there's this guy I heard about, Singal. He just showed up. Oh wait, what? Yeah,
That would change all your predictions.
yeah, definitely. All right, this has been fun. Thanks for joining us, Brett.
Yep.
This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss.
Brett Shumway. Have a good one, guys.
See you next week.